Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Sage, Assistant City Attorney with the City of Sioux Falls. We're here today as part of our Compassionate Sioux Falls initiative. That initiative is designed to raise awareness about a business or organization that deals with compassion and acts with compassion on a daily basis. Compassion is moving from tolerance to acceptance within our community. Today we're privileged to have Feeding South Dakota present with Mr. Gasson. Mr. Gasson, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ryan, for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Feeding South Dakota and what is your mission with Feeding South Dakota?
Well, Feeding South Dakota, we're a private nonprofit organization that really operates statewide. Our mission is to eliminate hunger in the state of South Dakota, and so a very simple mission statement, but a really big job.
What programs or facilities do you have in order to help with that mission?
Yeah, we have, operate basically 5 essential programs in that we operate food pantries in Sioux Falls and Rapid City, which are direct service programs providing food to individuals and families in need. We have a much larger operation of food banking where we warehouse and redistribute food to nonprofit charitable organizations all over the state, some 350 organizations. We help administer a couple USDA commodity programs for the state of South Dakota. We run the backpack program out of Sioux Falls and Rapid City and the surrounding communities, so we're doing about 5,500 backpacks each and every weekend during the school year. Then we also do a mobile pantry operation where we're really taking truckloads of food into rural communities that really don't have the facilities or the resources and doing distributions to help feed hungry people there.
So obviously your mission and your work spreads throughout the state of South Dakota. What does hunger look like here in our state?
Pretty simple, Ryan. I always tell people if you want to know what the face of hunger looks like in South Dakota, all you have to do is look in the mirror, because the face of hunger looks just like you and I. It's that elderly couple that we sit next to in church on Sunday. It's the young child we see playing in the playground. It's the neighbor we see coming home from work. It's really people of all walks of life, and it's right here in our community, and it's right next to us.
Do you have some statistics about the number of people in South Dakota that are affected by hunger?
Well, we know that roughly 1 in 8 individuals in South Dakota are considered to be food insecure, and a more startling number is that 1 in 5 of those are children. We know that roughly about 19% of our population over the age of 50 live at or below the poverty line. We have the distinction of having 3 of the poorest counties in the nation right here in South Dakota, and so that's.
When someone is hungry, how does that impact their daily life or their ability to act as a functional person and a productive member of our community?
Great question, and I think it's really about the different age groups and how that impacts them. Children, we know that it's going to impact their ability to grow physically and cognitively. They're going to be less attentive in schools. They're going to be more apt to have behavioral problems if they're hungry. They can't concentrate, and if you can't concentrate, you can't learn. You've got the working population who are going to be a less effective workforce, if they're hungry, because they're not going to be able to concentrate. They're not going to have the energy to do that stuff. And we have our senior population that, without the right nutrition, they're not going to be able to live independently as long as maybe they could, and they're going to suffer more health issues.
Matt, you mentioned the backpack program as one of the, functions of your facility and your organization. Tell us a little bit more about that program.
Ryan, the backpack program is a program that was really created to fill a hunger gap that exists on the weekend for far too many of our school-age kids in our city and across the state. It's a program we know that many of the children depend on from free and reduced breakfasts and lunches that are in our schools, and so they have access to good meals on Monday through Friday, but the problem really comes on Friday afternoon when the bell rings and the kids are sent home and the doors to the schools are locked behind them. When that happens, these children lose access to those meals, and so many of these kids are going home on the weekends to pretty tough situations where there's not always enough food in the home for them to eat. And so this program is really designed to provide them a package of food to take home with them on Friday afternoon. It has a couple breakfast, have a couple lunch entree items in them, and it's really just try to help them get through that weekend until we can get them back into school on Monday morning. They gain access again to those free breakfast and lunch and reduced lunch meals that are available in our school system. And we really, probably the most important part of the program is really what it does to those children. I mean, besides the obvious need for filling that hunger gap. It's what it allows those children to be able to do in school on Monday morning. They can't concentrate in it, and we expect kids to come to school on Monday morning and haven't had enough to eat, and if they can't concentrate, they can't learn. If they can't learn, they can't keep up with their peer groups. And we really hope that this program is helping prepare those children, putting them in a better place to live, learn, and grow through the benefit of the food package that we send home with them on the weekend. And we're doing statewide, between Sioux Falls and Rapid City, we're doing over 5,500 of those each and every weekend of the school year. And so there's a lot of children that are impacted.
With your program, obviously it's difficult for some people to reach out. How do you go about treating them as the humans that they are and give them the dignity and the respect that they deserve as members of our communities?
Great question again, Ryan, and we work very, very hard with staff to ensure that those people that we deal with directly through our direct service programs, that we treat them with the utmost of dignity, like we would any other person. They're not clients in our world, they're guests. Our pantry operations are such that they come in and they shop just like you or I would at a grocery store. We're trying to replicate that feeling so that they can go in and they can pick off the shelves of foods that they and their family want. We just try and reinforce the need to not be judgmental, because it's really easy to allow yourself to go down that road and to look at somebody because of the way they appear when they come to the facility, that you may want to draw conclusions, but you just really can't do that unless you know what's going on in that person's life, that you know the story behind them. It's almost a how dare you type scenario to try to place judgment. And so we just accept the fact that we don't know what's going on in those people's lives, and we know that it's not an easy process for them to come and have to ask for food, and so we try to make that as dignified a process as we can in all of our actions.
In order for your mission to be successful, you obviously need help from the community. What are ways that people can help, and how are they able to make contact with your organization?
Well, first of all, any information that you want about our organization can be found on our website at feedingsouth-dakota.org. But none of the work that we do in the state of South Dakota happens if it's not for the support of the generous people in the state of South Dakota, the individuals, the businesses, the corporations who are so willing to donate both their time and their talents and their resources. The monetary donations, for every dollar donated, we can turn that into 5 meals. The 35,000 hours or so of volunteer time that's given to our organization statewide each and every year is critical to allowing us to get the work done that we need to get done. And so, like I said, nothing happens along the lines of the work that we do if it's not for the generosity of this state and the people that make up the state.
Matt, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for the work that your organization does. If you're interested in learning more about Compassionate Sioux Falls, you can do so at siouxfalls.org/compassion or #CompassionateSF, or by phone at 367-8745.